this basically confirms what the Wild's plan is going to be for Game 3 after Filip Gustavsson made his first start in 22 games and did not go the Wild's way. But this may have also made the decision easier for Bill Guerin going on the future of Filip Gustavsson after what he had to say post-game last night. We're going to be breaking it all down here in this video, as well as going over a little bit of the game with this massive break coming up for the Wild until Game 3 on Saturday. There is going to be a lot of stuff between now and then that you guys will want to stay up to date with. And the best spot to do that is right here at Wild Digest. So folks, if you haven't already, be sure to drop a sub here on the channel. Join me throughout this week, the remainder of the playoffs, the offseason, whenever, really. We're uploading every single day with every single bit of news that you'll ever need covering this Minnesota Wild team. We're at the big goal of 5K right now. Your support's been incredible. We're currently sitting at 4,579 subscribers, and this series is already insane. It is going to only get more insane at home on Saturday, and with the record the Wild have right now, it's not necessarily looking the greatest. You see this from Michael Russo for the first time in, or I should say for the 9th time in Wild history, they trailed 2-0 in a series. They've rallied to win 2014 against the Avalanche. And although this is 12 years ago, this is still something that I would not be shocked to see the Wild do. But one thing the Avalanche are 18-4 when they're up 2-0, and 15-3 when they open a series at home. Some very crazy stats to see and some very difficult ones to go up against, but not the impossible. And that's really all that matters for this Minnesota Wild team right now. Because as we go back and look at this game, the Wild had 31 shots. Colorado had 23. Some very easy goals they had. They were very good on the face-off dot. The Avalanche were. And this is, not a great look, especially for Filip Gustavsson this game, where he's letting up the first goal of the second, the first goal of the first, a few weak ones, but seemingly locked in for the third, but it was too little, too late at that point. But when you see this, if the Wild can duplicate this, can replicate this, and with, Jesper Wallstedt or someone, they have a good chance. I'm not saying Jesper Wallstedt would have necessarily won this game, but I think he would have given us a much better chance. But before we kind of dive into that little part, Michael McCarron really said exactly what we needed to see. Simply, the key to turning the series around is special teams, and it most certainly is, even though I wouldn't say it is the only thing. I still think there are quite a few things that need to be cleaned up, but that is one thing that is certainly on the table. Let me ask you something before we get too far into the news. Have you ever Googled your name? Because if you haven't, it's actually crazy how much information is out there. Like your personal information, your address, your phone number, family details. It's all just sitting online. And that's exactly why we use Incogni here at Wild Digest. Incogni helps protect your privacy by removing your personal data from websites which are constantly collecting and selling your info without you even knowing. What really sets Incogni apart is their unlimited plan. It's their most comprehensive and powerful data removal plan available, and it lets you submit an unlimited number of removal requests, so even if your info is on random sites, Incogni's privacy experts will go after it for you. All you have to do is find where your data is exposed, send them the link, and they'll handle the rest. We're talking 420 plus data brokers, plus custom removals beyond that. Honestly, in today's world, protecting your data isn't optional anymore. Take your personal data back with Incogni. Use the code WILDDIGEST at incogni.com/WILDDIGEST and get 60% off an annual plan. Thank you to Incogni once again for sponsoring this video as well, but I gotta say, I don't think the only thing is special teams that is the issue for this Wild team, and obviously it certainly is a big one, but it's not the only one. You see this from Dylan Lukes. The Wild special teams ranks out of 16 playoff teams. The power play, 10th. The penalty kill, 15th at 57%. The last 7 games are 2 for 25 on the power play and 13 for 24 on the penalty kill. Not good. Very, very bad, actually, indeed. And I mean, against the Dallas Stars, the Colorado Avalanche, you can't have that. I think one thing, though, that is for sure is the need of Jonas Brodin to return to this lineup, because the pairing of Jake Middleton and Jared Spurgeon has been getting eaten alive. There's no other way of putting it, and even though, one guy in Jonas Brodin you may not think will actually make that much of a difference, he's an incredible defenseman, an incredible penalty killer, and is someone that just has years and years of experience that the Wild desperately need right now. And I mean, you go and look here throughout this most recent game against the Avalanche. Quinn Hughes and Brock Faber obviously eating up the time on ice. You're seeing 9 minutes from Jeff Petrie, 13 from Damon Hunt, 18 and 20 from Jake Middleton and Jared Spurgeon. You need to have Jonas Brodin be able to eat up a chunk of those minutes. And I mean, I would even argue close to what we're seeing Brock Faber and Quinn Hughes have, around that 20 to 23 minute mark. His impact will be incredible when he does return, which is hopefully going to be for Game 3 on Saturday. And the Wild do have the opportunity to have such a great break. And the big one as well on offense has been Joel Eriksson Ek. We need to see him back. Danil Yurov has been playing, fairly good, but we need to see some physicality, just a body in front of the net. I do not care who it is. We just need someone there. And having Joel Eriksson Ek, come into these games that he's been playing upwards of, 18 minutes, we need to have him back in that role rather than only playing Danil Yurov 10 minutes on the second line. There's a lot of things that need to be wrinkled out here and, ironed out. But the way that this entire thing has gone, one thing that I will for sure say has to happen next game is getting Jesper Wallstedt back in the crease. There was a major risk in running Filip Gustavsson. Although he wasn't, it wasn't the worst idea, I would say, to run him in Game 2. The best decision they could have made was take out Jesper Wallstedt in Game 1. Yes, you were able to score a couple as well on Scott Wedgwood. But give Jesper Wallstedt the break before Game 2, when you would have had the opportunity to win. I want to go back to this. You see on the bottom right here, Filip Gustavsson stats, not good. Not good at all. And the power play goal, not on him. There was probably the other three were on him, though, and I'm completely willing to say that, and I do not like to call out goalies at all. Now, you see this from Michael Russo here, and this is one thing that we're going to have to take along with him. John Hynes, and goalie coach Freddie Chabot watch Gustafsson's post-game interview, or if Bill Guerin does, there's no doubt Wallstedt will get the call on Saturday's Game 3 at Grand Casino Arena. Not just Freddie Chabot and John Hynes, because we know, and it has to be, that Jesper Wallstedt will start. But if Bill Guerin sees the way that Gustavsson spoke, there is zero chance he will be on this roster come next season. Probably a less percentage than there already is after his kind of demeanor, as we saw earlier in these playoffs. Michael Russo was asking the question, asked him if he wanted to answer, and he said, no, ask the guys that are playing. He was not happy. But at least, don't answer this way. And these are some things he said. And this is from The Athletic, once again, from Michael Russo. He was asked his reaction when he was starting. He said, just go out there and stop the puck. Asked when they were giving up 2 goals on 2 shots to start the game, he said, it was okay. It's always fun to play when it's a high atmosphere and all the stuff you get to get you going. Asked what the team has been like for him. He said, yeah, I just wait for my time to cheer the team on, and then we'll see what happens. Asked how hard it was to play for the first time in 22 days in Colorado, especially in a playoff game. He said, mentally, I felt fine. Not at all the response that I think is acceptable, nor I would want to hear for Filip Gustavsson. And I think there's one thing that Bill Guerin knows, and he is not taking anything like this from anybody. He does not care who it is. He's not taking that. And there's one thing that we saw was the goalie trade rumors reports going, to the trade deadline with Jesper Wallstedt. I will be incredibly shocked if I see Filip Gustavsson in a Wild jersey next year after these comments. And, I understand the frustration. I do. But this is very similar to what we saw from the Barrie Colts in their media interview, whatever that was, with their coach and captain. Just ridiculous. No need of this. Unacceptable. And I think that the way that, you saw Filip Gustavsson play as well, this Jesper Wallstedt, this net now, this is his team. That's what it is. And, we've seen that, I think, throughout these playoffs. But this contract, especially the new one that he's getting next year, 6.8 for 5 years, not at all hard to move. This summer, the draft, free agency, if I'm Bill Guerin, I'm on the phone with the Edmonton Oilers, and he will be an Edmonton Oiler. I think there's no doubt about that in my mind. They need a goalie. You can get some assets in return. I think it's a no-brainer here at this point. So let me know what you think about that. And that's just a really weird situation for Filip Gustavsson for me, and I'm really not a fan of it whatsoever. But you see this. Hynes and Gustavsson handled the last few weeks like a pro, but has been hungry to get back on the net, made the switch because of a multitude of reasons. That's what we saw John Hynes say prior to Game 2. I saw no hunger from Filip Gustavsson. didn't seem like he handled it like a pro. And this really I just don't like this. And you guys probably see my frustration here. And I don't mean to be kind of going about this too much. But if there's one thing for sure, what we saw from Jesper Wallstedt this year in the regular season, the playoffs so far, he's the future. And everybody on this team seems to be acknowledging this. So, folks, let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you thought about these comments. And would you trade Filip Gustavsson after this post-game reaction? Or would you at least throw that kind of concept out there if you were Bill Guerin? Give me a Y for yes in the comments below or an N for no. But that is all I have here in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like. Like I said, hit the sub button as well. I'm signing out, though. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.